Am I the a-hole for writing my parents a check for everything they say I owe them and telling them to shut the F up and get the F out?
That was
Shots fired. Hey guys, welcome to the Honey Hearts podcast. I'm V,
And I'm Sandra.
and today we're bringing you a fresh new story hot off the press.
Ooh.
So we know that relationships with parents can sometimes be a little bit complicated. Most of the time, they want what's best for you, but sometimes what you think is best for yourself and what they think just don't align. So today's story is from the subreddit, Am I the A-hole? Am I the a-hole for writing my parents a check for everything they say I owe them and telling them to shut the F up and get the F out?
That was strong.
This one's it's coming out strong. I am 30 years old and fairly successful thus far. My parents are a huge part of my success. They kept me motivated through school, they gave me a great childhood, they helped me graduate debt-free. My mom's contacts helped me land a well-paying job straight out of university. I'm a Nepo kid. Without them, who knows where I'd be? They think this gives them carte blanche to interfere in my life. They constantly critique everything about my life. I cannot think of one aspect of my life they approve of. And I'm not a bad person or anything. It's not like they have a problem with me because I'm a drug addict or working as a sugar baby. They just think they know better about everything. I had them over to my place for my dad's birthday, and everything was wrong. My apartment was too small. The stove didn't have precise control of the heating elements, and I scorched the sauce. And they kept saying they wanted better for me, and that after everything they did for me, I should be doing better. Well, I'm doing well, and because I live the way I do, I've actually done fantastic for the last 8 years. So I wrote them a big check and asked them to hold it up. I took a picture of them with the check. They asked what it was for. I said that it was for everything they had wasted on me, since obviously they think I've failed, so I'm giving them a refund. I told them that I love them and that I appreciate their help, but now that they were paid back, they could keep their opinions to themselves and out of my apartment. They got huffy and left. I heard from my brother that they are pissed that I did that. I don't really care. I just want them to accept that I don't owe it to them to live my life how they want. Am I the a-hole?
That was
Shots fired.
holy cannoli. Is this an Asian family?
Traumatic flashbacks.
Like where you were a disappointment. Even your stove setting is not right.
You burned the sauce. How dare you?
This is why cooking for your parents is it's a risk. You can take it. You cannot take it.
Feeling OP's frustrations alone. It's so sad.
It is. It hit a little too close to home. I can feel the want to impress your parents, especially since you feel like they have given a lot during your upbringing to help to get to where you are today. I understand that desire to impress them, but in reality, they're kind of used to having their own opinions, and it's better to not take it too much to heart.
I feel like it becomes kind of weird because, yes, parents, will provide for their children, but in a lot of cases, sometimes they'll expect things back. Almost like look, I did this, so listen to my advice. And even if it's well-meaning and well-intentioned, like I want you to do well, this is what I think is good, I don't think that different ways of going about things is always accepted by parents.
It's like it could sometimes come off like a transaction.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I did this for you, so you should be like this and have met these like goals and bullet points and stuff. But honestly, in life, it's not gonna happen that way. For more likely than not, the expectations are totally different from both sides. Like, the children's expectations and experiences definitely going to be different from their parents. It's a different generation, a different time. So what is successful to the parents, they're probably basing it off of how they grew up and like what they've seen. I don't think it's fair for any nitpicking to be done, like, oh, you're in an apartment. I don't know if the parents expected OP to own a home by now. Your stove is a certain way. I'm not sure if they expect OP to have a brand new stove.
Based on what we're hearing, it definitely feels like the parents are wanting to have OP succeed. Like they want the best for OP clearly if they're, helping him land a job, or him or her, or whoever OP is, like helping them land a job, helping them with, free college, which is a big deal. Like it's tough to see success and want it for your kid and then have your kid not want that same thing and define that same thing as success. I think, like you said, it's just generationally, it's very different. Success can mean different things for different people, even without the generational gap.
What is OP expecting to accomplish with this check? Like, is OP expecting for them, like, to totally cut off their parents, or like just to get them off his or their back?
So OP didn't specify if they wanted the parents completely out of their lives, but for sure they said, quote, paid them back so they could keep their opinions to themselves and out of my apartment. So I think it's more so that the parents will stop kind of having that transactional behavior of potentially, I'm imagining if the conversation went something like, look, we got you the job. We didn't do all these things for you just for you to live in a small apartment with a stove that doesn't quite work.
Okay, so OP's not really trying to cut off their parents. They're just trying to get them off their back. That's totally understandable. I mean, if you hear it enough times, you kind of get tired of it. I think the parents should let go of whatever other expectations they have, because it's not their life to live and to direct. It's, OP is living their own life. OP is directing their own life. Like, there's not, as long as OP is confidently able to say, I'm doing well, I think that's what's most important.
Coming from at least like Asian parents for me, I've had a lot of conversations with family and not just parents, but older family members who kind of use critiques as almost their way of saying, instead of saying, how are you? Or how's the weather? The conversation for them, like the normal conversation would be more like, why are you dressed like this? Why are you wearing that? Why are you acting a certain way? Why do you say certain things? So it comes off culturally way more nitpicky, at least in mine.
For me, it's
also normal.
It's like, oh, so did you get a promotion yet? Did you get a raise yet?
Yeah.
Are you still working the same job?
How much do you make? Like,
are your loans paid off?
Maybe there's some cultural or generational gap at work here, but even then, I don't think it excuses that sort of nitpicking behavior.
I would like to say it's coming from a place of love on the parents' part. They're nitpicking because they don't want their children to face what they, what they perceive as like failure. And they want to be able to be proud of the children, but I think parents don't want their kids to settle.
Are they afraid of what other people might say about OP? Because that's also a very real thing, where I've seen cases where parents might not be as critical or feel as critical, but they'll say it out of love because of concern that, oh, if your relatives saw this, or if your coworkers or your friends saw this, what will they think of you?
It's coming from a place of love, but also like I think a place of fear and concern and worry.
Yeah.
So it's very complicated. I don't think the check will silence their parents.
No. I think it feels like shut up money. I don't know if it'll work, to be honest. I feel like in the heat of the moment, I think it's a big move to make. I don't know if it will steer the conversation in the way that OP wants it to.
I really think they just need to sit down and talk about it. Communication.
I think it's really important to have a conversation, even if it's very difficult, about it with the parents. And I hope that OP can reach them and maybe come to some sort of consensus, a healthier balance in the relationship.
Yeah, it's not to say that OP should let them, like walk all over them with the comments.
Let's see what some of the comments said. So first comment, not the a-hole. If your parents were actually supportive and loving, they would encourage you instead of criticizing. It's great that they helped you growing up, but that's actually what parents are supposed to do. There's nothing wrong in setting boundaries or expecting to be treated with respect and kindness as an adult. Writing them a check was an inventive way of trying to point out their negative behavior. I'm not sure if it will work to make them understand how their actions aren't reasonable or kind, but it was a better option than losing your temper. Keep your boundaries, live your best life, and if your parents want to be part of it, they can learn not to be a-holes around you.
Exactly. OP should live their best life.
Yeah.
And I think, like, honestly, just doing that will already show your parents that you are successful.
Here's another comment. Not the a-hole. My gran was like that. Not a good word ever. Everything was criticism. Didn't like my housekeeping, job, girlfriend, or anything else. This quote, not a good word to say, shiz, went from age 10 to 23. To be clear, I was not a failure. Valedictorian, post-grad, very good job, district cricketer at 14, no arrests, no drugs, despite that allegation when I was 10 that humiliated the family. And I did this despite my parents dying at age 12 and 17. I'd give myself an 8 out of 10. I said, I'm not tolerating criticism any longer. I'm unable to change for the better. And frankly, I don't respect your opinion. You don't have to like my life, but you must leave your disapproval silent. You will receive one warning, then I hang up. Day 1, criticism, warning, criticism, hang up. Day 2, criticism, warning, criticism, hang up. Day 3, calls me. Line is silent for a long pause. Says she's afraid to speak. I ask, why? Do you intend to criticize me? She tries to argue that the criticism is for my benefit. I said her motives are irrelevant to the prohibition. She asks what she's meant to do. I say her choices are saying only nice or neutral things, or if she's unable to think of any and can only think of spiteful, nasty things to say to me, she can refrain from calling me until she comes up with an alternative, however long that takes. Eventually, she modified her behavior. Now, you could reopen the door under new rules, but that's up to you. So, I feel like this is a very good example. Of course, we've been talking, with the hope, based on OP's perspective, that the parents are well-intentioned. But say that they are spiteful and they're mean and they're critical and it's not with good intention. Then I think it is, like this commenter suggested, up to OP if they want to reopen, but set boundaries, set your rules, OP, on what you want this relationship to look like moving forward.
There comes a time when your children becomes adults, and even if your criticisms are well intended, maybe they're actually out of habit now at this point in their life, rather than a specific need for it. Like, there's not really a need for it anymore.
Yeah, there are definitely better, more positive ways to show support, not just through criticism. And speaking of support, we really appreciate if you guys support the channel and us by helping us reach 500 subscribers. So hit the subscribe button if you haven't yet, please. Last comment. Did they cash it? Did they cash it though? So this one, highly liked comment, and I'm quite curious as well. It's a shame though, because OP did not answer this one.
I want to know.
But I'm kind of curious.
I want to know. OP, tell us, did they cash it? If anyone has read this story and knows the update, can you guys let us know in the comments?
Yeah, I'm super curious. So, the comments and the internet has spoken, and they've said not the a-hole, which I completely agree with. I mean, I don't. Okay, hold on. I don't think OP's the a-hole, but I don't know if I would have, slapped the check down, because I think that's a bold move. I don't think it was quite the kindest move on OP's part, but overall, I don't think OP's the a-hole.
I think it could be 3 different things. I think it could be not the a-hole, everyone's the a-hole, or no one's the a-hole. It really depends on the intention and what the conversation looked like afterwards.
Yeah, but what do you personally think as of now with the information we have?
I would say not the a-hole, because I might be a little bit biased because I understand that position, and it's a little bit hard for me to understand the justification behind the comments. I'm trying to be open-minded, but they are hurtful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those were our thoughts, guys, but we're super curious to hear what your thoughts were in the story, if you agree with us on who was at fault, and if you have any advice for opening this situation or have similar stories to share, let us know in the comments.
Let us know in the comments. Rate us 5 stars on Spotify. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok. And don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube. We're trying to get to 500 subscribers.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you soon.
Talk to you later. Bye.